If you save 50 bucks, what do you get? And more importantly, what do you lose?
This is the SoundCore Space One versus the SoundCore Space Q45.
Goedendag, we're DHRME, Dutch High Resolution Music Experience.
Before we go to the differences, let's get the similarities out of the way. Look, we'll explore sound in detail later on, but there are three things that are in common here. Number one, LDAC, the high-res codec, so that should not be a limitation. Number two, wired audio, so you're getting a 3.5mm headphone jack and a cable. And you can use these switched off passively. Media controls won't work, but the ANC and the power buttons will. And then third, the SoundCore app with the EQ presets and full EQ controls. Surprisingly, SoundCore still gives you the full Hear ID suite of functionality to tune these headphones to your ears, and you can also take that advanced curve and adapt it to your own tastes in the EQ. So they've not skimped on that feature, even though these are cheaper headphones.
Another similarity are that the controls are exactly the same. Same button layout and the same customization in the app. In the app, you can configure which ANC modes you toggle between by using the ANC button, so it can cycle through ANC off, transparency mode, or noise cancelling. And on both devices, you get multi-point support, so you can stay connected to two devices at the same time. And also you get a device list in the app, so you can see which devices are connected. You can even turn off a connection from a particular device and turn it on with another device. And luckily they're both foldable, so that's going to make a difference in the portability department. In terms of noise cancelling, we rank all our headphones on this scale. And coincidentally, the Q45 and the Space One ranked in at tier B. They both did a decent job of suppressing background noise across most frequencies. The voices are let in a bit more though. They're pretty much in the same class as the one more Sonoflow and the more expensive Sennheiser Momentum 4. And as far as the transparency mode goes, they're in the same tier again, tier A. The transparency is quite good across all frequencies. You can especially hear the voices clearly, and conversations are no problem. And there's also no noticeable white noise. To give you an idea, they're in the same class as the Edifier WH950NB or even the Sony WH-1000XM5.
In terms of build, this is, I think, where it really shows that the Space One is the cheaper one, because the cups really feel hollow when you tap them, and the sound kind of resonates like a resonating chamber, like there's a lot of space in this one. The Q45 is made with plastic and aluminum materials, and it does feel more solid and well put together. And this, we think, is the most obvious difference between these two headphones. One issue I did have with the SoundCore Space One was when the ANC was on and I was walking around and the cups shifted slightly. You do get this kind of weird shifting of the ANC, which is not very pleasant. And in general, I thought that the ANC pressure feeling that you do get with some headphones was more on the Space One than many other headphones I've tested in the recent past.
Okay, a place where the Q45 one-ups the Space One is in the battery life department. Space One is advertised at 40 hours with ANC on, but we tested that and we got 25 hours with ANC on and the AAC codec. I don't even know what it'll do with LDAC because it was promised to do 40 hours with LDAC and AAC. The Space Q45, on the other hand, we did get closer to the promised 50 hours of battery life. So sorry guys, but 25 hours is not up to the mark for contemporary standards of battery life on ANC headphones. Then we've got to give it to the Q45 when it comes to comfort around the ears. When you compare both the ear cups, the Q45 is just plushier, there's more padding, and the cups are roomier. Space One is not bad by any means, but you will notice the difference when you A/B test them, but we had no problem wearing the Space One for a whole workday. And the next one's an interesting one. SoundCore decided to give you a carrying case on the Q45 and just a soft pouch on the Space One. The carrying case is a hard case, so it is going to protect your Q45 a lot better than a soft case. We will say that the cable management isn't really that great on the Q45, but hey, you at least get a hard case, which you don't get on the Space One. But here's where the Space One wins out against the Q45. The Space One went with a couple of features that they copied from Sony, but with better user experience in our opinion. You get the speak to chat and the quick attention features that you know from Sony. Only thing is SoundCore calls it Easy Chat. So basically what it is you can either, and you have to choose here, you can choose between the speak to chat. So it'll notice when you're in transparency or in noise cancelling and you're trying to speak. It'll open up the sounds into your ears and it'll reduce any audio that's playing in terms of volume. So you can interact with your surroundings, and once you're quiet for about 5 seconds, it'll kick back into the same volume level for your audio and also into noise cancelling. The other one is quick attention. So if you tap with your whole hand on the left cup, it will open up, the sound into your ears again and will reduce the volume of the audio that's playing. Then there's the comfort on the crown, and we've said this before, the Space Q45 doesn't have a lot of padding around the headband. Now they fixed that on the Space One because there is a decent amount of padding, and that's something we've noticed while we're wearing these headphones as well. And interestingly enough, we were quite surprised when we were reviewing the Q45 is that there was no wear sensor, but the Space One does have it. And it worked well in our opinion, no issues. There is a little calibration process that you can follow, and at the end of it, it just worked as you would expect a wear sensor to work. And then there's a feature which on paper is the same, which is a wind noise reduction toggle in the app for both the Q45 and the Space One. But like we've said before, the Q45 had it, but it didn't do anything. We will give it to the Q45 that the wind noise reduction by default was reasonably well handled, but the Space One does it slightly better, and the toggle before and after made a huge difference.
Okay guys, this is weird. I haven't seen these on any other headphones so far. There's a whistling happening on the left ear cup and the right ear cup when I'm riding my bike. It's incredible. What the hell is that all about, SoundCore? It's like there's somebody whistling in my ears. And in terms of sound, while the Space Q45 is loud, the Space One is louder. And we don't mean slightly louder, but significantly louder. If you have quieter recordings, the Space One has your back all the way. Just don't use these anywhere close to max volume for normal recordings, that's all. More on the sound right after this section.
Here's a taste of the mic samples for patrons and YouTube members. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle. Let's do 1, 2, 3. So what's our conclusion? The Space One blocks more background and wind noise overall. The voice clarity is maintained, but sometimes gets lost when speaking softly. But overall, the Space One is a better pair of cans for phone calls than the Q45.
Now, while wired and switched off, both of these are usable passively, as we said, but both of these are also much louder when they're wired and switched off. Very interesting, right? But the Q45 definitely sounds way better in this mode. The Space One sounds overly bass focused and muffled, but of course, once you switch these on, it's a different story. The Space One is at its best with the active circuitry on. So let's talk about wireless sound, because that's most likely why you're buying these headphones. So guys, a lot of folks would prefer the Q45 over the Space One for that overly done treble, but I'm a simple guy, and something about the overall sound signature on the One just has a more pleasing character to my ears. To be clear, the Space Q45 is doing more, but I thought the Space One did better. And isn't that what it's all about? The slightly elevated mid and the less sparkly treble on the Space One sound better to my ears. But here's a quick sample of the recordings for your ears, and you can listen to the full samples as a patron or YouTube member of Icicle tier or above.
I ain't looking at the clock, still falling like Brian. Yeah, I'm headed to the Bucks, then I'm balling like yeah. I ain't looking at the clock, still falling like Brian. When I get high.
My pick is going to be the SoundCore Space Q45 for 4 simple reasons. The build quality is just more premium. The cups have more space and padding. The calls, though slightly worse, are good enough for my use case at the office or at home. And finally, there's a carrying case to protect that extra $50 investment.
And my pick would have been the SoundCore Space One, guys. It sounds better, and who needs a case? These bright colors also grab more attention, distracting me from the darkness deep inside my soul. But it isn't, and that's mainly because of that weird pressure feeling I get in my ear with these headphones, and the fact that they do weird stuff with the ANC while I'm walking. They've nailed everything else, but the Space Q45 it is. But what about other headphones in this range, the Edifier W820NB Plus or the One More Sonoflow? Check out our website/blog, where we might just post a written review of this.
Guys, although SoundCore sent us these products for free and has sponsored a zillion videos on YouTube, We will never ask for or accept monetary compensation from companies whose products we review. So thank you guys for sponsoring this video as our YouTube members and patrons.
And of course, AdSense.
You've been patronizing us.
And we've been DHRME.
Namaste.